co-own like 5 times in the first 15 minutes. Oh, my lunar teammate, my co-founder, blah, Brianna, my lunar owl mate, blah, blah, blah. This got brought up over and over and over again. And I'm sure she thought, well, this is my way to shade the people that says there's a conflict of interest. No, it was a great way to prove everybody right. It's a great way to prove everybody right. And keep in mind, ESPN doesn't broadcast.
A major scandal erupted during the WNBA All-Star Draft when Minnesota Lynx star Napheesa Collier showed up in clothing promoting the Unrivaled Basketball League, a competing organization she helped establish. Her appearance in rival league attire during what was meant to be a showcase for women's basketball created immediate backlash. Throughout the ESPN broadcast, Collier continuously brought up her connection to Unrivaled, repeatedly mentioning her Lunar Owls teammate and her position as a co-founder during the first quarter hour of coverage. These ongoing mentions of the competing basketball organization turned what was supposed to be WNBA promotion into free advertising for a rival business.
Literally, like, it benefits. It is a conflict of interest. So, this literally happened on Twitter. So, WNBA threads, like, and by the way, if you want to, it's not even thread, if you want to see the most not mad stuff ever, the most dumb stuff you will ever see is on WNBA threads. Do you guys see it? Do you
The circumstances become especially concerning given ESPN's broadcasting deal. The television network has no broadcasting rights to Unrivaled matches and gains no revenue from that league's operations. ESPN paid to showcase WNBA programming, yet their telecast became a marketing vehicle for a competing organization. This event brings up major concerns about conflicting interests, particularly considering Collier's upcoming participation in WNBA collective bargaining talks. Many believe that athletes who own rival leagues cannot adequately advocate for WNBA player interests during contract negotiations. The draft situation appeared to confirm these worries rather than address them.
Cast Unrivaled games at all. They've got no interest in Unrivaled blowing up because they don't have the rights to any games. They're not benefited by it. But that was a WNBA product, and it became a promotional tool for another league. You're trying to tell me Napheesa Collier and Brianna Stewart have the best interest of the WNBA players?
The circumstances were particularly damaging for the Indiana Fever and Indianapolis. The city was hosting All-Star Weekend, which represented a significant marketing chance for the team and local basketball fans. Rather than highlighting the celebration, the broadcast focused on discussions about a completely different league. Video footage from the telecast clearly displays Collier in an Unrivaled branded top during split-screen segments. This visual display of competing allegiances created an uncomfortable moment for audiences and league administrators. The images conveyed priorities that many considered unsuitable for the event.
Do you guys see it? Do y'all think the players will really do a strike if the league doesn't make some changes? Lunar Owls BC is Fee Collier's team in Unrivaled. And by the way, Fee Collier is clearly not running this page. Fee Collier is clearly not running this page. I'm telling you this right now. Like, Fee Collier is clearly not running it. But at the end of the day,
Caitlin Clark's choice to trade Cheryl Reeves during the draft offered one of the evening's few positive moments, showing tactical awareness that stood out against the controversy around the co-founders' marketing efforts. Online responses came quickly and were mostly negative. Numerous commentators highlighted the clear contradiction between Collier's public claims that no conflict exists and her actions during the broadcast. The continuous Unrivaled promotion while taking part in WNBA events seemed to demonstrate the exact opposite.
Collier and Brianna Stewart have the best interest of the WNBA players. And look, the league and the players have to coexist. I mean, this is wild. It really is. But this is a screenshot. That right there is an Unrivaled shirt. That's an Unrivaled logo on Collier's in her screenshot. This is the split screen from the WNBA ESPN.
The situation reveals deeper conflicts within women's professional basketball. As new organizations develop and veteran players acquire ownership shares in competing leagues, issues about allegiance and representation grow more complicated. The WNBA must navigate these conflicts while preserving competitive fairness. For league executives and franchise owners, this represents a troubling example, permitting players with competing business interests to join league events while advertising rival organizations could damage the WNBA's marketing campaigns and fan connection. The scandal also damages the league's capacity to control its reputation during major events. All-Star Weekend typically functions as a display for the sport's top performers and biggest stars. When that stage becomes a tool for advertising competitor leagues, it reduces the planned effect.
But at the end of the day, somebody's running this page, and it is obviously Lunar LSBC. And I mean this when I say this, I'm living in hope that this is a random person. But the fact that the tweets were deleted as soon as this started getting sent around. As soon as this started getting sent around, it got deleted. Yes, definitely see it. Also, see demands being met because of last year's and this year's draft class. WNBA definitely wanting to.
Observers claim that Collier's broadcast behavior essentially destroyed the draft's marketing potential. Rather than creating enthusiasm about the approaching All-Star game and honoring league accomplishments, attention moved to conversations about split loyalties and business disputes. The image of a WNBA All-Star in competitor clothing during league programming leaves lasting harmful impressions. It implies that active players consider the league less important than their other business projects, potentially hurting fan trust and sponsor connections.
Screenshot. This is the split screen from the WNBA ESPN broadcast last night during the WNBA draft. And unbelievable. It really was. I was like, wow, this is embarrassing for the WNBA. And if I'm the commissioner, if I'm the owners, I am furious. I'd be like, you know what? We'll let y'all lock yourselves out. How about we lock the doors and go under? You've never.
This scandal happens during a vital period for women's basketball as the sport experiences greater attention and business interest. Keeping professional standards and avoiding conflicts that could harm growth becomes critical for future success. The event questions appropriate limits for player business activities. While athletes should pursue entrepreneurial chances, clearer guidelines may be needed about how these ventures interact with league duties. Going forward, the WNBA might need to create more specific rules about player involvement in competing leagues and marketing activities. Clear standards could prevent similar situations during future league events.
Definitely see it. Also, see demands being met because of last year's and this year's draft class. WNBA definitely wanting to capitalize on the momentum. And whatever about this, this is one thing. This is immediately where you're like, you know what, conflict of interest, probably shouldn't be saying it, but there's nothing too, like, incriminating in that. When it does happen, will we be getting an extended Unrivaled season? Our same thoughts exactly. Cheering.
The long-term effects of this scandal remain uncertain, but it has generated important discussions about conflicts of interest in professional sports. How the WNBA handles these issues will likely affect similar situations in other leagues and sports organizations. Current issues around the Unrivaled Basketball League have created major scandal and questions about potential conflicts of interest in women's professional basketball. The circumstances involve complicated relationships between Unrivaled, which claims to be non-competitive with the WNBA, and ongoing collective bargaining discussion.
You've never turned a profit for us. So you're not as a valuable commodity as you must think you are. Wow, it was such an embarrassment to what was supposed to be this huge promotion for the league, for the Indiana Fever. This is really insulting to Indiana and the Indiana Fever. The All-Star game is going on in their city. And she gave him a middle finger by talking about the Unrivaled League.
The main problem focuses on Unrivaled's organization, where specific WNBA players own stakes in the new league. This setup creates questionable situations when these same people join WNBA contract talks. While a WNBA work stoppage would hurt salaried players, those with ownership positions in Unrivaled might benefit from such situations. This double interest creates a clear conflict that complicates labor discussions. Social media activity has greatly increased these worries. A discussion thread on WNBA platforms questioned whether players would actually strike if league leadership refuses to make changes. The reply from Lunar LBC, representing Napheesa Collier's Unrivaled team, became particularly controversial. The account's management seems separate from Collier herself, suggesting outside parties control the messaging.
You have an official team, somebody posting excited about a WNBA season being cancelled and saying when it does happen, and you have an official team saying our thoughts exactly with cheering. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, and by the way, I'm not saying Stewie or what's her name, or Fee have anything to do with this.
The situation worsened when tweets were rapidly deleted after receiving negative attention. Early posts suggested expectation for meeting demands due to previous draft losses, showing the WNBA's wish to use recent success. However, the most harmful content appeared when someone asked about extending Unrivaled season if WNBA activities were stopped. An official team account responded enthusiastically about a potential WNBA cancellation, stating when it does happen and showing excitement about extended Unrivaled operations. Another official account replied with "our thoughts exactly," along with celebration emojis. These responses show concerning attitudes toward the established league's potential problems.
Talking about the Unrivaled League, I got to give Caitlin Clark credit. That trading Cheryl Reeves hating ass off her team was beautiful. It was beautiful. So, I'm not the only one bringing this up either. I'm not the only one. I say again, as a fan, Unrivaled owners, especially Unrivaled co-founders, Napheesa Collier and Breonna Stewart, have no business being involved in CBA negotiations for the
The players themselves, including Stewart and Collier, likely had no part in these social media mistakes. They presumably feel annoyed by the unprofessional management of their team accounts. The situation suggests poorly paid social media managers making bad public statements without proper supervision. The competitive relationship between leagues becomes clearer when looking at potential scenarios. Despite claims of non-competition due to different seasons, Unrivaled would likely expand into WNBA timeframes if the established league faced cancellation. This expansion could include format changes, additional television contracts, and recruitment college players through emergency draft procedures.
Or Fee have anything to do with this. I don't think they've anything to do. I think they are pissed at this. I think they are pissed. Like, they are pissed at this whole thing. There's no way they're happy about it. And by the way, that's fine. Like, I'm not blaming the two of them. No question about it. I'm not blaming the two of them for this. They are probably absolutely pissed. They're probably like, you are kidding me. The random dude.
Investment interests further complicate the situation. Behind the scenes, financial supporters have monetary motivations that may not match player interests or league stability. These investors
being involved in CBA negotiations for the WNBA. They are compromised, and every person realizes this. But the WNBA allows it for some reason. This is going to backfire. Fees genuinely thinks her being on the CBA negotiations is not a conflict of interest, given she spent a half an hour pushing Unrivaled during the WNBA draft. Shaking my head.
The public relations disaster shows ongoing professionalism challenges in women's sports. Limited financial resources often result in inadequate staffing and oversight. Content creation varies widely in quality and approach, from television quality production to informal commentary. This difference affects public perception and professional credibility. The timing of these social media incidents happening simultaneously with public statements about conflict of interest concerns creates additional problems. When leadership attempts to address ethical questions while team accounts express enthusiasm for competitor difficulties, the messaging becomes contradictory and damaging.
The random dude that we're paying £100 a week to run our social medias for each page is out there saying that they would love for the WNBA season to be cancelled. Like, they are a competing league. They're a competing league because everyone's like, oh, they don't play at the same time. Because let's be real. If the WNBA season gets cancelled, Unrivaled is going to go into the WNBA season. They are going to...
These developments highlight the complex intersection of player equity, league competition, and professional representation in evolving women's sports landscapes. The situation demonstrates how ownership structures, social media management, and competitive dynamics can create unexpected complications for athlete investors and league relationships. The scandal illustrates broader questions about how emerging leagues position themselves relative to established organizations, particularly when key personnel maintain involvement in both entities. Resolution requires careful consideration of ethical boundaries, professional communication standards, and transparent conflict of interest policy.
During the WNBA draft, shaking my head, wearing an Unrivaled shirt for the WNBA draft, but wants to pretend there's no conflict of interest in CBA negotiations. Laugh out loud. I mean, wow. We still pretending the WNBA doesn't have a conflict of interest with Unrivaled after Napheesa shamelessly self-promoted in the All-Star Game draft?
Moving forward, the situation demands better coordination between ownership groups, social media representation, and public messaging strategies. The disconnect between player intentions and account management creates unnecessary complications that could damage both league relationships and individual reputations. Professional sports organizations require consistent messaging that reflects organizational values and strategic positioning. The current situation serves as a cautionary example of how poorly managed communications can undermine carefully constructed business relationships and public trust within the sports community.
Is going to go into the WNBA season. They are going to get the money for that. If the WNBA season gets cancelled, they are probably going to start Unrivaled. They'll probably try to find a way to start Unrivaled later. They will, instead of finishing in the middle of March, they will probably go and try to get other TV deals. They would literally try to change the entire league to a 5v5, change everything. And they would probably have an Unrivaled rookie draft, allowing certain invited players to join midway through the season from college.
These developments highlight the complex intersection of player equity, league competition, and professional representation in evolving women's sports landscapes. The situation demonstrates how ownership structures, social media management, and competitive dynamics can create unexpected complications for athlete investors and league relationships.